Jules Verne, 1828–1905, was born in Nantes, France, and he started to write for the theatre when he was a student in Paris. His first novel was 5 Weeks in a Balloon, 1862, and he went on to write more than 60 other science fiction and adventure books. He became one of the most famous writers of his time. Phileas Fogg. A wealthy Englishman. Passepartout. Fogg's servant, Passepartout, is a Frenchman. Detective Fix. A detective, who is looking for a bank robber who took £20,000 from the Bank of England. Mrs. Ouder. A beautiful Princess Indian. 1872. In 1872, Phileas Fogg, a British gentleman WHO went to his club every day. He puts £20,000 at stake due to a bet that Phileas could not go around the world in 80 days. That same day Phileas and his French servant Passepartout, they went by train to France and took a ship to Port Said in Egypt. October 9. The travel was good until they reached Suez. The detective Fix began to follow them because he believed that Phileas was the bank robber and that the travel was a pretext to flee. Fogg and Passepartout took a ship to Bombay. October 20. In the afternoon they took a train that crosses India to Calcutta. October 23. The railway from Colby to Allahabad is not ready. Passepartout finds an elephant to take them to Allahabad. They stop near a temple of Pillaji. The old Indian prince had died. His young wife, the princess called Mrs. Ouder, had to die with him in a great fire. Phileas decided to go rescue her and accompanied them to Europe. October 24. They passed through Calcutta and headed to Hong Kong by ship. Fix was also in the same ship because he had to stop Phileas before reaching Hong Kong. November 6. In Hong Kong, Passepartout wants to buy tickets on the ship Carnatic. It leaves for Yokohama, in Japan. Fix and Passepartout met in a bar and he told him his tell plan and got him drunk. The next day Passepartout wakes up in the Carnatic but without Fogg and Mrs. Ouder. Passepartout arrives in Yokohama and gets a job in a circus that was on tour to the United States. November 7. Fogg and Mrs. Ouder take a ship to Shanghai. November 14. Fogg and Mrs. Ouder takes a ship to Japan and then a train to arrive as soon as possible to San Francisco. December 3. They arrive in San Francisco and that night they take a train but it stops in Kearney due to an attack by the Indians. Because they found a sledge, they were able to travel from Omaha and catch the train to New York. December 11. In Liverpool Fix arrests Fogg. But after a time, he goes free because they had found the real bank robber. Passepartout, Fogg, and Mrs. Ouder took a train to London. When Fogg arrived, he could not believe that he had arrived 5 minutes late than the agreed time. The next morning Passepartout arrived with good news saying that they had arrived a day earlier, since as we travel the world to the east, each day was getting shorter. And they ran to the club, arriving a few seconds before for the time and deadline. Fogg had won the bet against the men of the club and the next Monday Fogg married Mrs. Ouder.